The words hit me like a slap. Let her sleep on the couch. 5 casual words that shattered everything I thought I knew about family. I was standing behind the kitchen door of the Florida beach house I had rented, yes, me, out of my pension savings, and heard my daughter-in-law distributing rooms as if I were an unwanted guest. Her parents would take the master bedroom, the kids would have the back room, and me? The couch. My name is Eleanor. I'm 67, widowed for 3 years, and I've spent my life working double shifts at a textile factory to raise my only son, David, after his father died in an accident when David was just 8 months old. Every stitch I sewed, every dollar I saved, was for him. When he wanted to go to private school, I sold my husband's wedding ring. When he needed textbooks for university, I sold my gold earrings. When he started his construction company, I emptied my $1,200 savings without hesitation. David became successful. Contracts, nice house, good clothes. I stayed in my modest 2-bedroom home, happy just to see him thrive. Then he met Vanessa, a polished, charming bank manager who smiled like an angel and calculated like a chess master. At first, she treated me with sugary sweetness. "Eleanor, David is so lucky to have you." But slowly, she pushed me out. Sunday lunches became rare. Family dinners happened without me. My photos disappeared from his house, replaced by her elegant decor. When my grandchildren, James and Lily, were born, they became the next tool. "The kids need routine," Vanessa would say, slowly cutting my visits from weekly to monthly to whenever we can. David, blinded by love, always sided with her. Then came the call. "Eleanor," Vanessa chirped one Tuesday, "I've been thinking we should all take a big family vacation. A beautiful house in Florida, right by the ocean. It would mean so much to the kids, and you've looked tired lately. What do you think?" I felt hope bloom for the first time in years. A full week with my son and grandchildren? It sounded like heaven. The house cost $3,500. I had exactly that in my emergency account. Vanessa did her dance. "Oh no, we can't afford that, maybe just a cheap hotel," and, like the fool I was, I offered to pay. She reluctantly accepted, asking for my card details to book it. On the flight down, I was glowing. James and Lily were buzzing with excitement. David looked relaxed for once, and even Vanessa was smiling. But the moment we arrived, she took the keys and took over. She assigned herself and David the second-best room, gave her mother Marjorie the master, and told me I could have the guest room, as if I hadn't paid for the entire thing. I bit my tongue. I didn't want to ruin the vacation, but the humiliation grew. Marjorie strutted around like a queen, planning her morning exercises on her terrace. Vanessa and Marjorie decided the entire week's itinerary without asking me a single question. I sat quietly at dinners while they took the head of the table. David was buried in work emails. I felt invisible. The breaking point came on the second night. When I returned from a day of exploring with the kids, my suitcase was packed on the bed. Vanessa appeared with that sweet smile that now made my skin crawl. "Oh, Eleanor, I forgot to tell you. My cousin and her husband arrived unexpectedly for their honeymoon. Could you take the couch?" "It's memory foam, so comfy." I stared at her. The couch. The woman for whom I'd sacrificed everything was kicking me to the sofa so strangers could have my room. "And David?" He shrugged, tired. "Whatever works, Mom." I'm starving. That night, I lay on that lumpy sofa, listening to the sounds of my family enjoying rooms I'd paid for. I heard Lily's giggles through the wall, David and Vanessa murmuring upstairs, Marjorie's heavy snoring from the master suite. And at 2 a.m., I heard the truth. Vanessa was on the phone with her sister. "Linda, it's unbelievable. The old woman paid for everything without a single question. Now, she's sleeping on the couch. She's desperate for attention. It's pathetic. And the best part? David's almost convinced she needs special care. In 6 months, she'll be in a nursing home, and we'll have the house." My blood turned to ice. They were planning to remove me from my own life. I cried silently into my thin blanket. But beneath the tears, something stirred. Not sadness. Rage. The same fire I'd felt at 23 when I became a widow with a baby to raise. And when I saw Vanessa's phone glowing on the kitchen counter at 4 a.m., unlocked, forgotten, I knew destiny had handed me a weapon. Trembling, I opened it. Message after message confirmed everything. She had already faked a psychological report with a shady doctor to claim I needed supervision. She had spoken with a lawyer about selling my house to pay off David's $200,000 business debt. She was having an affair with a man she planned to run off to Costa Rica with after stealing everything. I screenshotted everything, every lie, every betrayal. Dozens of photos with her lover, messages plotting my legal erasure, plans to forge power of attorney papers. By the time I put the phone back, I wasn't Eleanor the submissive grandmother anymore. I was Eleanor, the woman they had underestimated for the last time. The sun rose over the turquoise water, but this time I didn't feel small. I felt sharp. While Vanessa hummed in the kitchen, acting like the perfect hostess, I was already replaying every screenshot in my mind. I had evidence. I had time. And most importantly, I finally had clarity. When she saw me come down the stairs, her fake smile lit up. "Good morning, Eleanor." "How'd you sleep on the sofa?" I smiled back sweetly, like a baby deer. The sea air works wonders. I saw her shoulders relax. She thought I was still the same docile old woman who wouldn't dare challenge her. She had no idea that by leaving her phone unlocked, she had handed me the blueprint to destroy her. During breakfast, Vanessa started planting little seeds, just like I knew she would. "David, don't you think Mom's been a bit forgetful lately?" she asked innocently, pouring him coffee. David glanced at me. "Are you okay, Mom? You were kind of quiet last night?" I looked him straight in the eye. "I'm perfectly fine, sweetheart. At my age, I may not run marathons, but my mind is sharper than ever." For a split second, Vanessa's smile faltered. She recovered quickly. "It's just that yesterday at the ruins, you misplaced your purse 3 times. A lie." "That never happened," I said calmly, holding his gaze. "I've always double-checked my things." "You know that?" She tried to laugh it off. "Oh, maybe I was mistaken." No, she wasn't mistaken. She was testing the waters. This was how manipulators worked. They chipped away slowly until the people around you started believing their story. But not anymore. The rest of the day, I played the role of the perfect grandmother. I told stories to James and Lily by the pool, made them laugh, carried them when they were tired. Every time Vanessa tried to make a sly remark about my age or forgetfulness, I countered it with sharpness, recalling small details she had forgotten herself. When she left to take a walk on the beach, I knew she was talking to her lover. I sat with David on the terrace. His face was tight, distracted. "Son," I said gently, "how's work going? You look worried." He sighed. "It's complicated, Mom, but I don't want you to worry." "It's very complicated," I pressed softly. "Just cash flow problems," he said, avoiding my eyes. I knew the truth. $200,000 in debt. Vanessa, had known how to hide that from him while simultaneously building her escape plan. "And Vanessa's helping you, right?" "Yeah, she's supportive. It was her idea not to tell you." "She didn't want you stressing about it." "Of course it was her idea. Keep me in the dark so she could control every piece of the puzzle." That night, once everyone was asleep, I lay on my couch, the sea breeze rustling the curtains, and I started phase 2. I pulled out my old phone and searched up the shady doctor and lawyer from Vanessa's messages. The doctor had been sanctioned twice for falsifying reports. The lawyer had a reputation for helping clients hide assets before bankruptcy. She hadn't stumbled into these people. She'd built a network. Then I made the most important call of my life. "Dolores," I whispered. My neighbor had been my friend for 20 years, kind, loyal, and trustworthy. I told her everything, every message, every betrayal. "Eleanor, are you sure? I have the proof. But I need help. Go to my house tomorrow morning. Check if anything's missing from my files." "You got it. And Eleanor, be careful. This woman sounds dangerous." The next morning, while Vanessa flipped pancakes like she was Martha Stewart, I got a call from Dolores. "Eleanor," she whispered. "Someone's been in your house. The drawer where you keep your property papers is a mess. And the original title is missing." My blood turned to ice. "But don't worry," she continued. "They dropped it behind the filing cabinet. I found it. I'm taking it to the public registry today to get a certified copy. If they try anything, we'll have official proof." For the first time in days, I exhaled. Vanessa had sent someone to steal my property documents while she kept me distracted in Florida. But she wasn't as clever as she thought. I hung up just as Vanessa walked in holding a stack of papers. "Eleanor," she said sweetly, "we need to talk about something important, your health insurance." Here it was. "What about it, dear?" "Well, the law's changed, and if you don't sign some updated documents before we leave, you might lose your benefits. Don't worry, it's just standard paperwork, basically power of attorney so David can handle things for you if needed. You know, just in case. Just in case you wanted to ship me off to a nursing home and sell my house." "Oh, that sounds reasonable," I said with a grandmotherly smile. "But first, I'd like my lawyer to look over everything, just to be safe." Her smile cracked. "Your lawyer? Eleanor, there's no need. These are standard documents. I'm older, Vanessa. I like to be cautious." She pressed harder. "We really need to sign today. Tomorrow's Saturday. The offices will be closed." Pressure. Classic tactic. "Don't worry," I said sweetly. "My lawyer works Saturdays too." Of course, I didn't have a lawyer, but Dolores did. Her friend, Mr. Warren, agreed to help me the moment I called. He told me exactly what to do next. That afternoon, Vanessa paced around the house like a cat on hot bricks, waiting for me to sign. I didn't. Instead, I called David to the terrace. "Sit down," I told him softly. "We need to talk about your business." He froze. "What do you mean? I know you're $200,000 in debt. I know about the fake psychological report. I know about Vanessa's plan to make me sign over the house." His face drained of color. "How do you, because she's not as smart as she thinks she is." "Mom, I didn't want to. I know, David." "You didn't know everything, but you need to listen. Tomorrow, we're having a family meeting. You, me, Vanessa, her mother. And you're going to hear some things about your wife that will change your life forever." He looked terrified. "Mom, what are you talking about?" "You'll see." That night, Vanessa tried one last time to corner me. She came down while I was reading on the couch, pretending to be frail. "Eleanor," she whispered urgently, "if you don't sign, you'll lose your insurance. David will be furious. Please, trust me." I tilted my head and smiled. "Of course, dear." Tomorrow. She went to bed looking pale. She didn't know I already had everything. Her messages, her lover's photos, the stolen title, her fake documents, and now, David's attention. Tomorrow, I would flip the entire script. The last day in Florida dawned like a scene out of a postcard. Crystal sky, warm breeze, the ocean glittering like it didn't know the war about to unfold on that terrace. Vanessa woke up early, fidgety. She tried to act sweet at breakfast, but her forced smiles cracked at the edges. She knew something was wrong. She just didn't know how much was wrong. "Eleanor," she cooed as she poured me coffee, "we really need to sign those insurance documents before we go. Please don't make this complicated." "It's just 2 signatures." I folded my napkin carefully. "This afternoon," I said with my softest grandmother smile. "After lunch, when everyone's here." Her eyes darted nervously to her mother, Marjorie. They exchanged a look that told me everything. They were running out of time. At 4 o'clock, I called everyone to the terrace. David sat beside me, tense but silent. Vanessa and Marjorie sat across from us. The kids were watching cartoons inside. The breeze carried the salty air through the open doors. "Family?" I began calmly. "Before we leave tomorrow, there's something important we need to discuss." Vanessa leaned forward with her documents. "Yes, Eleanor, about the insurance." I raised my hand. "Vanessa, I'll get to that. First, I'd like to read exactly what these papers say." She froze. I pulled out the folder I had prepared, filled with every screenshot, every photo, every piece of evidence I had collected. These are not insurance documents, I said clearly. They are a full legal power of attorney that would give David control of my house, my bank accounts, and the right to commit me to any institution he deems necessary. David's head snapped toward her. What? Vanessa, what is she talking about? Vanessa laughed nervously. Honey, that's a misunderstanding. Eleanor must have misread them. They're standard. I laid the first printed screenshot on the table. A message between Vanessa and her sister. The old woman paid for everything without asking questions. She's sleeping on the couch and doesn't even dare complain. David's face drained. What is this? Vanessa reached for the paper, but I slapped my hand on it first. No. My voice was steady. You've talked enough. Next came the second screenshot, her conversation with the doctor. You lied to a psychologist to create a fake report saying I was mentally incapable. Do you deny it? David looked at her in disbelief. Vanessa? For our own good, she snapped suddenly, losing her sugary tone. David, your mother is getting older. We needed to plan for the future. I pulled out the third piece, her texts with the lawyer, discussing his company's $200,000 debt and how to sell my house to cover it. David slammed his hand on the table. 200,000, Vanessa? You told me it was 50. David, calm down. No, he shouted. His voice cracked like thunder over the terrace. Stop lying to me. But I wasn't done. Not even close. One by one, I laid out the printed photos. Vanessa and her lover, in restaurants, in hotels, holding hands, kissing, wrapped around each other. Dozens of them. David stared at the photos like someone who'd been hit by a truck. Who is he? His voice was empty. She stammered. He's someone who understands me. Understands you? He roared. I was working day and night to save the company while I pulled out the final set of screenshots. Vanessa's messages to her lover. Once we sell her house, Robert can file for bankruptcy. We lose the company, but keep the money. Then I'll divorce him and we'll go to Costa Rica. David read them in silence, his hands shaking. When he finally looked up at her, he wasn't my grown son anymore. He was the little boy whose heart had just been broken for the first time. You were going to leave me, he whispered. Marjorie finally spoke up, horrified. Vanessa, is this true? Vanessa turned to her mother in desperation. Mom, you helped me. You knew? I knew you wanted David to manage the finances, Marjorie snapped. I didn't know you were cheating, lying, or planning to throw your mother-in-law into a home like garbage. The terrace exploded into chaos. David yelling, Marjorie shouting at her daughter. Vanessa sobbing, this time not the manipulative kind, real panic. Her perfect mask was gone. I sat quietly, my hands folded in my lap, letting the truth detonate like a bomb. Finally, when the shouting subsided, I spoke. David, I said gently, she didn't just want my house. She wanted to destroy you too. She was going to leave you penniless and humiliated. He turned to me with tears streaming down his face. Mom, forgive me. Forgive me for not seeing it. For not protecting you. For letting her treat you like that. I reached for his hand. There's nothing to forgive. A mother always protects her child even when he doesn't realize he needs protecting. Vanessa's tears stopped. Her eyes hardened. She stood up, her voice filled with venom. Fine, you want war? Then let's have war. You think you can ruin me? I can ruin you too. David and I stared at her. David, she hissed, your company didn't fail because of bad luck. You and your partner were embezzling money from government contracts. I have the fake invoices. If you report me, I'll report you. You'll go to prison for 10 years. The world went silent. David went pale. Is that true? I whispered. His eyes were wet, ashamed. I didn't know it was illegal, Mom. My partner told me everyone does it. I thought. Vanessa smirked, thinking she'd found her last trump card. You turn me in, I'll drag you down with me. I stood up slowly. Vanessa, I said calmly, you're right. David made mistakes. And do you know what we're going to do about it? She tilted her head, confused. We're going to confess. Her smile vanished. What? David is going to return every dollar. He'll pay the fines, face the consequences, and rebuild his life honestly. I'd rather have my son poor and free than rich and blackmailed by you. Vanessa's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. David stood, walked to me, and hugged me like he hadn't since he was a boy. You're right, Mom. We'll fix it, no matter what. Vanessa's last weapon crumbled in her hands. She tried to salvage something. Robert, therapy, we can fix this, please. David shook his head. No. It's over. Within weeks of returning home, David turned himself in. He paid the fines, did 6 months in prison, and came out clean, no debts, no lies, no blackmail hanging over his head. Vanessa faced fraud and forgery charges. She was sentenced to 5 years. Her lover vanished as soon as the money dried up. Marjorie apologized to me through tears. She visits sometimes now, humbled. David sold what was left of the company and started fresh as an engineer in a small, honest firm. He earns less, but sleeps well. My grandchildren spend weekends at my little renovated house. James makes cinnamon coffee the way my grandmother taught me. Lily sits beside me, learning to embroider, chattering about school. But the greatest gift wasn't revenge, it was dignity. For years I thought being a good mother meant staying silent. I thought love would be enough to protect me. But respect isn't begged for, it's demanded. Even at 67. Especially at 67. If you take anything from my story, let it be this. It's never too late to stand up. It's never too late to set boundaries. And if someone tries to make you small in your own life, don't just take it back. Burn their script and write your own ending. If this story gave you chills or made you rethink how elders should be treated, leave a comment telling me where you're watching from. Tap that like button if you believe every grandmother deserves respect. And subscribe, because the sweetest revenge isn't destroying them. It's living so well that they regret ever underestimating you.